Welcome back to Carcry, the place where we take apart every bolt and every marketing illusion. Guys, today we've got a car whose name already sounds like a lost GPS signal. The Subaru Uncharted 2026. Be honest, when you hear Uncharted, what pops into your head first? The PlayStation game? Or that sketchy campsite your father-in-law swore was safe? Drop it in the comments. Sounds funny, but this Uncharted name is actually a smart move from Subaru. After the epic flop of the Solterra, their first EV, whose range aged faster than a New Year's resolution, Subaru desperately needed something that feels less like a Toyota wearing a different badge. And here's what I love throwing straight at you. The Uncharted 2026 is Subaru's silver bullet, aimed right at everyone laughing at them for being late to the EV race. It's not a lazy electric crossover, it's a compact SUV that moves like a trained rescue dog, one that could actually find your lost car keys in the mountains. Here's the spicy part. Its dual-motor AWD version packs 338 horsepower. Yep, 338 electric horses in a CUV the size of a Crosstrek. That smells very Subaru. Pure rally spirit reborn in electric form. Exactly what true Subaru fans have been begging for. Not just AWD that climbs, but enough punch to scare a few wannabe street racers. Oh, and don't forget, it still rides 8.3 inches off the ground. A Japanese-built EV raised among the wild forests of Canada and Alaska. In short, Uncharted isn't just a name, it's a declaration. We finally found our own way to build an EV. So, ready to explore what this lost formula really is? Then stay tuned, and if you don't want to get lost among the EV jungle, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell right now.
After that 338 horsepower intro, let's talk about the shell it comes in. Looking at the Uncharted, I feel like Subaru finally admitted, okay, turns out good-looking cars actually sell better than bricks with AWD. Come on, you know it's true. In today's world, driving an ugly car is like showing up to a party wearing something your mom picked, baggy and outdated. The Uncharted is a coupe-like crossover, trying to bring that curvy coupe energy into SUV land, and Subaru nailed it surprisingly well. Yes, it shares the E-TN GA platform with Toyota CHR+, but it's far from being a copy-and-paste job. Look closely. The roof slopes gently toward the rear, and the hitting rear door handles blend into the window line. A classic optical trick to make this 4,515mm SUV look sportier, lighter, more alive. But here's the real Subaru DNA, the 8.3-inch ground clearance. In a sea of city EVs barely clearing 6 inches, 8.3 inches is Subaru shouting, "I may be electric, but I still climb curbs, cross creeks, and dodge potholes deeper than my future." That height isn't just for bragging. It improves both approach and departure angles, so when you switch on X mode for a muddy trail weekend, you're less likely to scrape the battery pack, a 74.7 kilowatt-hour lithium-ion slab doing all the heavy lifting underneath. Thanks to aerodynamic tweaks, the Uncharted slices the air better than the Solterra. That means quieter cruising and fewer range anxiety jumps when you floor it on the highway. Roughly 480 kilometers, about 300 miles, on a full charge. See? Good design can actually save you some electricity. Remember that 338 horsepower story from segment 1? Well, this body is the perfect tuxedo for that muscle. A fighter wearing a suit, ready to punch through traffic in style.
All right, we've got to talk about Subaru's picky neighbor. You know it. The Uncharted was born from what they call a mutually beneficial partnership with Toyota, built on the E-TN GA platform. And the moment you hear that, some Subaru fans already frown. Toyota again? Is this going to be another sleepy Solterra? So tell me, do you think this platform sharing is smart teamwork or just plain dependency? Drop your thoughts below. I'll say this. Subaru played it way smarter this time, like a student who learns martial arts, then creates his own secret move. The E-TN GA platform is a dedicated EV chassis with a 74.7 kilowatt-hour floor-mounted battery. Placing the pack flat and low gives the car a super low center of gravity, and that's the golden ticket for sharp cornering and reduced body roll, kind of like trying to flip over a dinner plate. Not happening easily. But what makes the Uncharted more than a Toyota in disguise comes down to one word: tuning. Subaru didn't just borrow the frame and call it a day. Their engineers reworked the suspension, retuned the springs, dampers, and anti-roll bars to give that signature Subaru feel, fast steering response, and confident grip. They even tested the Uncharted on every tough surface you can name: gravel, dirt, snow, the usual Subaru playgrounds in Canada, Colorado, and the Alps. And trust me, that's not PR talk. When you suddenly need to dodge a deer on a mountain road, that precise tuning keeps the wheels planted, thanks to carefully managed yaw inertia that keeps the car balanced mid-swerve. So, yeah, the Uncharted is like a fighter trained in Toyota's dojo, but mastering his own unique technique. Remember this detail: the Subaru tuned suspension is what turns a potential CHR Plus clone into an 8.3-inch clearance trail beast. That feeling of being lost from the name Uncharted has now evolved into a genuine journey of discovery, a statement of how Subaru builds its EVs, from a rock-solid foundation upward. Guys, when it comes to performance, the Uncharted 2026 is proof that Subaru is done being called slow. That 74.7 kilowatt-hour battery pack, Subaru treats it like a gold mine. We've got two versions, but only one truly matters. The FWD version makes 221 horsepower. Sounds fine on paper, but for true Subaru fans, that's an electric heartbreak. A front-wheel drive Subaru? That's like ordering ramen without green onions. Edible, but something feels off. Until now, only the BRZ went without AWD, and now this EV joins the list. Subaru says it's to push range past 300 miles, around 480 kilometers, but honestly, it feels like a sweet betrayal of the legendary symmetrical all-wheel drive heritage. Then comes the dual-motor AWD version. That's the real meat here. 338 horsepower, 0 to 60 miles per hour in under 5 seconds. Under 5 seconds for a compact CUV? Do you realize what that means? It leaves the Kia Niro EV and Hyundai Kona Electric, both around 201 horsepower, in the dust, literally. When the light turns green, your rivals are still thinking about launching, and you're already halfway through the next intersection. But this power isn't just for drag racing. It's managed by Subaru's legendary symmetrical all-wheel drive, now electrified. Torque is sent instantly and independently to each wheel. That's where the dual-function X mode comes in. And no, it's not just a fancy button on the dashboard. X mode fine-tunes traction, motor output, and braking to keep the car stable on slippery surfaces like mud, snow, or gravel trails in Colorado, Canada, or the Alps. Think of it as the car's psychology system. It senses when you're panicking and steps in calmly, precisely, and effectively. Still, I've got to call out Subaru for adding a front-wheel drive variant. Sure, it extends the range, but if you're buying a Subaru, you buy it for AWD. Without it, your Uncharted is just another high-riding EV. That's like ordering soup without the noodles. Buy the FWD version, and you're basically buying 480 kilometers of regret. And remember that eTNGA platform we talked about in segment 3? Its rock-solid structure is exactly what allows the Uncharted to handle those 338 electric horses safely and confidently. We've talked about power and looks, but for any EV, two things matter above all: range and charging speed. These decide whether you're the hero of the highway or the poor soul waiting for roadside assistance. The Uncharted 2026 packs a 74.7 kilowatt-hour battery. When it comes to range, Subaru clearly learned from the painful lessons of the Solterra. The FWD version offers an estimated 300-plus miles. That's around 480 kilometers. Enough to calm that infamous range anxiety most drivers have. It's like going to a wedding knowing there's backup food waiting at home. You can just relax and enjoy the ride. But here's where Subaru nailed it: the charging speed. The Uncharted supports DC fast charging up to 150 kilowatts. That means from 10% to 80% in about 30 minutes. 30 minutes! Just enough time to grab a latte, scroll through 20 TikToks, and boom,
Your car's ready for another 300 kilometers. And this is where Carcry gives Subaru real credit, the battery preconditioning system. EV batteries work best at an ideal temperature, and when it's freezing outside, efficiency drops hard. This system uses navigation data. If it detects you're heading to a charging station, it automatically warms up the battery in advance. That ensures you get the full 150 kilowatt charge rate immediately, even when it's as cold as your wife's stare when you come home late. Finally, there's the NACS port, the North American Charging Standard, also known as Tesla's plug. So now you're not just driving a tough-looking electric crossover, you're officially part of the Tesla Supercharger Club. That move almost completely eliminates charging network worries, making the Uncharted one of the most practical EVs in its class. I know some of you still love that 480-kilometer FWD version from Segment 4, but here's the thing. With this preconditioning tech, that range just got a lot more real. So tell me, would you pick range or 338 horses of AWD power? Drop it in the comments.
Stepping inside the Uncharted, you'll instantly feel that Subaru finally said, all right, no more old school stuff, let's go modern. The cabin is a serious glow-up compared to the brand's usual rugged interiors. It's sleek, contemporary, yet still practical, like a smart kitchen that somehow keeps a spot for your shovel and boots. The tech highlight? That massive 14-inch touchscreen in the center. Sounds familiar? That's because it runs on Toyota's infotainment system. But don't worry, it supports wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, super responsive and crystal clear. The display is big enough for maps, Netflix, or even watching your life choices during a 30-minute charging stop. Now, when it comes to safety, this is Subaru's playground. The latest EyeSight Driver Assist Suite brings upgraded pre-collision braking, lane departure warning, and adaptive cruise control. And yes, there's also driver-focused distraction mitigation, which basically keeps an eye on you. It'll gently remind you if you've been staring at that big screen too long, or worse, nodding off after 300 miles of highway monotony. But let's be honest, cargo space is modest. With its sleek coupe-like roofline, you get just about 25 cubic feet or 708 liters of storage with the rear seats up. Great for grocery runs or weekend getaways, not so great for hauling a tent, 2 mountain bikes, and your ego across Colorado. It's like owning a mansion but forgetting to build the garage. So the Uncharted's interior is a careful mix: Toyota tech, Subaru safety, and urban SUV practicality trying to look premium. It's great for daily life, just don't expect it to carry your entire existence. Remember, those 338 horses under the hood are meant to overtake on the freeway, not tow your cabin up a mountain trail.
So, we've just taken a full ride through the Subaru Uncharted 2026. After all the praise and the sarcastic punches you've heard from Carcry, the final question is, has Subaru finally drawn its own EV roadmap, or is it still wandering lost in the electric wilderness? I'd say this is a bold and smart step forward. What deserves credit? Power. The 338 horsepower AWD version hits hard, a real statement in the compact electric crossover class. It brings back that wild Subaru spirit we all missed. Practicality. With up to 300 miles, 480 kilometers of range, and 30-minute fast charging, 10 to 80%, thanks to its battery heating system, this one's finally reliable, not just promising. Identity. With 8.3 inches of ground clearance in a tuned suspension setup, remember segment 3, Subaru's off-road DNA is alive and kicking, even in an EV body. What needs calling out? The FWD betrayal. Yeah, I'm still salty about Subaru going FWD on a version. A Subaru without symmetrical AWD is like a content strategist who can't roast anyone. Technically exists, but feels pointless. Cargo space. The trunk is tight, fits 1 suitcase and maybe 10 packs of ramen. That's the price for that coupe-style flair. The Uncharted 2026 feels like that reliable friend who'll go camping with you, keep your secrets, but only if you don't bring too much luggage. And if you're okay with him occasionally, well, running on 2 wheels instead of 4. It's a car with clear personality, a taste for adventure, and the guts to be different. I truly believe it'll create memorable journeys for those unafraid to explore the Uncharted. It deserves a spot in your garage, right next to that low-slung car you only dare to drive downtown.
And hey, if you enjoyed these tech deep dives mixed with a bit of dry humor, don't forget to hit subscribe and ring that bell so Carcry can keep exposing everything from wheels to batteries in our next video. See you in the next adventure.